The detour of a lifetime. I started the countdown at 50 days. 50 slowly became 49, and 49 became 48. I thought it would take forever to get through the cold Pennsylvania winter months, December, January, and February. Every day, all I could think of was to replace the blistery feeling with the warm, soft, fresh breeze of the Gulf Coast of Florida. Suddenly, the countdown reached the 30s as I finished up my first semester of high school in late January. Through the 20s, even though half as many days remained on my little handmade cross-off calendar, the day of warmth and serenity was farther than ever. The anticipation kicked in as the days neared 10. All of a sudden, only a handful number of days remained, and as my excitement reached its peak, these days could not go by soon enough. Our destination was Sarasota, Florida, where my grandparents had owned a property 5 miles away from Siesta Key Beach. We were only going down for a long weekend of 5 days, but I knew it was enough of a respite from the typical winter routine of high school. The house required maintenance my grandparents could not possibly repair, so my dad would give them a helping hand fixing gutters and the plumbing leaks that were staining the ceiling. Despite some work, I knew it would still be a short but fun vacation. 4:30 a.m. As a freshman in high school, I don't think I had ever woken up so early, but I knew the struggle to get out of bed and into the car would only be a temporary feeling of dread. Of course, this early wake-up was necessary, since together, my dad, sister, and I would trek over 1,000 miles, or what we thought would be a 17-hour road trip to our final destination. We were off, and as I knew we weren't going to see anything significant for the next couple of hours, I drifted off using the back seat as a bed to spread out on. I finally awakened as we passed the infamous Mason-Dixon line. At this hour, the sun began to creep up as Maryland's landscape gleamed golden orange. "Whoa there!" my dad shouted as the strong winds buffeted the car. Even as a passenger, I could feel us moving off course, back and forth, not on a straight path. Unusual winds for the early 7 o'clock hour, but that was only a breeze compared to what would happen later on. Taking I-81 south through most of the state of Virginia, my mom always commented that she loved driving through the Appalachian Mountains to see their beauty. Along the western border of Virginia, the view of the Appalachian Mountains doesn't get any better. The plan was to take the exit for another major route, I-77, through North and South Carolina. The ride through Virginia kept dragging on as if it would never come to an end. "Are we even close to North Carolina yet?" I'd be asking my dad. And he'd say, "Yeah, I feel like we're getting there," or "Hard saying, not knowing." The next thing I know, he's on the phone for a half hour, as it seems we've been on Virginia's roads for 10 hours. Of course, he knew what exit to take for I-77. It just so happened that the period of time to get off was when he was on the cell phone. After finally hanging up, my dad didn't recognize where we were. He knew something was wrong. Welcome to Tennessee, not the state we were anticipating to see. The first town we pulled off to desperately seek help and get back on track was Kingsport, a town on the northeasternmost section of Tennessee. It was exciting to hear that we'd be rolling through the Great Smoky Mountains as a detour. However, this would delay our trip by 4 hours, which from the sounds of it didn't appear to be a huge impact. Cutting through the Smoky Mountains, we witnessed the breathtaking topography and the distinct dry soils that shape the border between Tennessee and North Carolina. Driving down this I-26 route, we passed through historic Asheville, North Carolina, home to the Biltmore Estate. Although we never did lay eyes on the enormous spectacle, the town had a charm and artistic characteristic to it. South Carolina. If Virginia didn't feel long enough, driving through the state of South Carolina was an eternity. Since the state is shaped like a funnel, the route we took started around the end of it. Normally, the regular route cuts through the funnel shape, shortening the time. After hours passed by and the temperature didn't give us any thrills, my desire for Floridian weather only deepened. South Carolina barely reached 50 degrees. The sun began to set after merging on I-95 heading through Georgia. At the time, my sister had just received her permit to drive, so in lieu of staying overnight at a hotel, she took over the reins for the next couple of hours, for what would be the state of Georgia. Palm trees? Always a sign that Florida is near, and in fact, it was. Through the headlights of the cars and the interstate streetlights, outlines of the palm frond shapes could just be made out. Indeed, after a detour that cost us almost an entire day on the road, I couldn't believe we were actually in Florida. 21 hours to be exact. 4:30 on a Wednesday morning until 1:30 a.m. on Thursday. I thoroughly enjoy traveling, even long distances. This trip was very tedious, yet very rewarding. Being trapped in a moving vehicle for an entire day is not fun for some, but something was beneficial about spending time with my dad and sister in the same environment for 21 straight hours. It's like the few movies or TV shows that only consist of one setting, but capture the audience with an intriguing plot. You just can't put your finger on why it is, but this simplicity sets it apart from the rest, making it memorable. That's the best way to describe the detoured road trip to Florida in February 2009. And best of all, a sense of relief and accomplishment set in as I read 3312 Kenmore Drive. We were there.